Alright, I guess we're going to do a little Banlist video. I haven't really done these type of videos in a while, but I wanted to do a little video. I'm not going to do any editing on it, just going to sort of openly talk about when we could see a banlist and what that banlist could look like. I think the format at the moment isn't great in my opinion, the gameplay isn't really great. But yeah, there's a few changes that they could make to improve it. It's just whether they would make those changes at this stage, with a lot of these really strong decks being so new. I've got a couple of cards here that I kind of want to talk about, so I'll probably do that in a second half of this video, but I kind of want to do an educated guess on when we could see a banlist. So obviously we just had Vegas. Coming up end of March is YCS, YCS in Colombia, then we have YCS in Mexico, followed by Raleigh and Rio. So if we look at the sets coming out, we have Legacy Destruction end of April, followed by the Rosie Collection 2, which is end of May. These sets a little bit further away, yeah, looking at June and July. And then we have a bunch of European national events, which are happening at the start of May, or second week of May. And then if we look at the OCG metagame, post Legacy of Destruction, isn't too much difference to our format, to be fair. They have the addition of Tempire Dragon, but the rest of it is really similar to our format. I'd say there's more Kashtira in the TCG at the moment. I think Fenrir is at 1 in their format anyway, so yeah, it's really similar formats. But in terms of when we could expect a format, this is just an educated guess. I'd probably say after YCS Rio. So we're looking at about 6-7 weeks time for a ban list. Give us a couple of weeks of Legacy Destruction, and then we have a ban list going into the European Nationals, which I'd probably say that's a fair estimate. We could see a ban list like just after YCS Raleigh, but I think it would make more sense to have it maybe after Rio, which gives us a fresh start for the European Nationals, and we've got a couple of weeks of Legacy Destruction as well. So in terms of what this banlist would look like, so I played a little bit, like I played quite a bit this format, and yeah, like I said at the start of the video, I'm not the biggest fan of it. So there's a couple of directions that they could take, but let's be honest, I don't think they're going to do anything crazy. They could do like weird small consistency hits. They like a hit that I would like to see is Flambish Dragon or the original. I think the original's a bit too much. I don't really see an incentive to play like the wanted engine without original. So maybe Flamberge is like the right hit if they really want to lower the ceiling of the deck, because this card is insane. Obviously gives him the IP, or an extra deck monster back into your special trap card zone, which you can special summon out. Obviously it gives you the 2 bodies. It takes away that aspect. So it does massively take away the ceiling. But I don't think they'll do that at all. They'll probably do something silly like Sneaker's Ash to 1, Kirin to 1, and then maybe like Cross out to 1, or something really silly like that. So, but I would like to see Flamberge's banned, and that's it. But I don't think we'll get that at all. I don't think they'll hit Ash. I don't think they'll hit original Kirin. They could hit Cross out. I'd probably be fine with this card getting hit. I don't think it's like that crazy, and it's not. You know, it has its formats. Like, think of the last 12 months, when has this card been played outside of the current format that we're in? It's just a bit annoying that, you know, it doesn't necessarily promote healthy gameplay when you've got like 18 hand traps in your deck and you can play this card. And if they don't hand trap you, it turns into like a non-engine card that can hit like a Snake Eye Ash in the mirror, or just call like a Snake Eye Ash in the mirror. So yeah, this I don't think this card promotes good gameplay, so I would like to see it maybe put a 1. But yeah, we'll just kind of work our way down the list and talk about cards. Some of these cards probably won't come back, but I kind of just wanted to talk over them anyway. Eradicator, I remember start of Nationals last year. Everyone's begging for this card to get hit. It could probably still get hit. I mean, a lot of banlists we get at the moment, a lot of hits are really late. So it could be a case of this card just getting hit preemptively before people start crying about this card again. But at the moment, it's not really seen much play. But last year it was a bit of a problem, so maybe they could see it getting hit. Next is Fenrir. Fenrir, I don't think this card's great as a non-engine card, outside of maybe Kashtira or Manadium. If it's an engine card, then it's insane. But we could potentially see a hit to this just because of the cash tier decks. I don't think they're like those decks are insane, but I think maybe like a hit to this might be warranted because this card is pretty powerful. So maybe just like putting this to 2. I don't see it getting limited, but maybe like a touch, like just a quick check to put it at 2 or something. But we'll see. Prosperity, I again Phantom Nightmare, people begging this card to get hit. I still think this card is ridiculous. Like, this card is actually just insane. And even if you take this card away, so many decks struggle consistency wise. Like, look at Unchained, like Floowandereeze, Kashtira, all these decks kind of struggle a bit without this card for consistency. So maybe it could be warranted to put this card at 1 or 2. Talents, the more I play with talents, because like although this card is insane, it is a very insane card. I actually think it has a lot of skill expression. So like sometimes, you know, you make you make greedy plays with this card, like looking at your opponent's hand, where sometimes the draw 2 is like really good. And I understand that getting like when you open multiple hand traps, hand trapping, you know, first, and then your opponent taking away the hand trap and full comboing you. If you know what I mean, it's just a bit toxic. So maybe it could be, you know, slightly checked, but I still think this card is a pretty skillful card, and it doesn't always encourage like healthy gameplay. When you get a hand trap once, they can play through it, look at your hand, and then sequence their hand accordingly. That is a bit toxic, but going second, there is a bit of skill expression with this card, so I think I'm fine with this card at 3. Shifter, I think Shifter is like a necessary evil in my opinion. I think this card absolutely has to exist. I'm probably going to get like a lot of comments about that, like why, like it's just a toxic card. It's just, why do some decks just get an auto win button? I just think it's a necessary evil. Like, imagine tier format without Shifter. It would literally be tier 0 times 2. Yeah, so I think it's a necessary evil. Runic, although Runic hasn't really seen that much play recently, I still like to see some sort of check on this, because let's be honest, look what happened where it like after tier format last year, where there was like 20 different decks again, and Runic's just going to be one of them. So why not put tip to 1 or something, just preemptively, to stop like these super diverse formats coming back after a really, really big ban list. So I like to see some little checks on these fringe decks at the moment, just to stop that from happening, and to promote the new sets as well, because it gets a bit stale when people are always activating Runic cards. Like, after a new ban list, it just gets a bit stale. So I would like to see some sort of hits to this. Emergency, no, that's fine at 3. I think the card is really, really insane, obviously, but I don't think Rescue Ace is doing much at the moment. Maybe post a ban list, but we'll see. Lubellion, I think this card is probably fine at the moment, but I could easily see either one of these get limited in the future. Oh, I've just timed out DB, but yeah, I could easily see one of the Bestials get limited in the future. Brand of Fusion, I would love to see a hit on this deck. The fact this deck's gone like so long without even a hit is pretty crazy. Maybe, I don't know, Branded Opening or Brand of Fusion to 1 could be warranted. Glitter Bulb, I'm pretty sure this card could come back. I'd like to see other people's thoughts on this, but I'm sure this card could come back. Yeah, don't see an issue with this card coming back at all. I think the Dragon Rulers could all come back at maybe 1 or 2. I think a Tidal can definitely come back at 1. Maybe like start bumping the bad ones up at 2, see what happens, but I don't think these cards will see play in the future. Pankratops could come at 3, easy peasy. Card's not really seen that much play, and it's a really, really solidly fair card going second. It's not unfair. It's not something your opponent summons and like, oh well, I've lost the game. It does have a little bit of skill expression to it, which I quite like. So yeah, I could see Pankratops coming back to 3. I'd be happy with that. Misk probably could stay at 1, but probably could come back at 3, and Dino wouldn't see that much play. Yeah, but I'm happy with this card at 1. I think it is quite a toxic card, so I'd be happy with no hits on this, or no further increases to this. Time Seal could probably come back at 3, to be honest. Call of the Grave, I'd be happy. I hate this card. I think this card could get banned like tomorrow, and I'd be happy, but it probably won't get any hits. Sekka's Light could probably come back to 3. Same with Diagram as well. Card of Demise. Card of Demise is a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? back in the day, it sucks when your opponent set 4 cards, activate cards in Mize, and just get, you know, crazy pluses off it. But what's realistically active doing that this format? Runic Stun, which isn't that good. Like, yeah, it gets like tops here and there, but like, what else is like? We're never going to be in a stun format, because as soon as people start like stun gets popular, people start attacking for it, and then it dies to non-engine go in second, or like games 2 and 3. So maybe this card could go back to 2 or 3, maybe a bit crazy, I don't know. But one card that actually I wanted to talk about was actually Reasoning. They could potentially put this card up to 2 or 3 with the Inferno stuff that's coming out, so I'd be interested to see what happens with this. Astrograph could easily come up to 3. I don't really like Pendulum as a archetype or a game mechanic, but it could probably come up to 3. Block Dragon, absolutely not. I think this card's probably going to stay banned forever. Harp Horror, I think everyone had I don't know why it's on here twice, but I guess everyone had a bit of fun when this card came back to 1. Like, everyone got a big nostalgia hit. Everyone's playing Orcus or locals. It's really fun. I could probably see this card come back at 2 or 3 though, because it's not really doing much in the game. And Orcus is a pretty fair deck in our format, considering what's going on at the moment. I could probably see this card come back at 3. Vanity's Emptiness. I don't think there's a reason to ever reprint this card, or sorry, take it off the ban list, because what they could do is just release a new card that has something similar to. If they wanted to like unban this card, they'd retrain it as a new card and make it like a little bit more fair. So no, probably not coming back. Engage could come back to 3. Strikers get new support. Strikers not really doing anything as a deck right now. Could probably come back to 3, which is crazy. Imagine saying that in like 3 or 4 years ago. Whenever they put this card to 1 or banned it. Was this card banned or was it put to 1? I can't remember. I think it was banned. Yeah, it was banned, wasn't it? So it could go back to 3. Change of Heart is at 2 in Mastodor, so it could probably come back to 3. Oh, do you know what's on here that I haven't even talked about? These bad boys, which could go tomorrow, and I'd be very happy. We've gone to them separately, but I think Change Your Heart could probably, maybe you could stay at 1 actually. There's always going to be like a silly format where like take cards are really good, so maybe his card could just stay at 1, just in case. Heavy Storms at 1 in the OCG, I'd be happy with this card coming back. Doesn't really promote anything crazy. What are you going to do? Like pop your True Jacob spells? Like cool, you're probably losing anyway, so it's fine. Kirin could probably come back. I'd be quite happy to see his card come back. It'd be quite interesting to see what happens. But yeah, right. These 2 bad boys can literally get out of the game. Like, I'm actually just like, I don't want to be the one of those people that like crying online about Floodgates, because like it's just a meme by that point, isn't it? Oh, crying because Yu-Gi-Oh's bad, but it's not bad. It's just these cards are just so toxic, and they just create like a silly little triangle where you're trying to break your opponent. Like, the reason why people are playing 18 hand traps, 15 hand traps, is because these cards exist. What's the point in like trying to break your opponent's board where they potentially flip a broken Floodgate and you lose anyway? So if you like hand trap your opponent, stop from playing, and they have a set summon limit, that's more of a hindrance to them. So that's why hand traps are just so broken right now. So yeah, I'm not a fan of these cards. They could probably just ban them up into 1. But yeah. Moving on to some random stuff in the extra deck. Curious could come back to 1 to promote some of the new Lightsworn stuff that's coming out in the next couple of months, but I'd be happy with this card staying on the ban list. It's pretty good. I don't think I've ever had. I do have fun playing this card, but I don't think it promotes any good stuff, especially with like transaction rollback in the format. I don't see anything healthy coming from this card being unbanned, but they could do it just to promote Lightsworn stuff. Kit's interesting, probably not though. They'll probably bring back the tier names before they bring back Kit, so I don't think this card's coming back. Zodiac Trident, I'd probably say this card can come back at 1. What are you going to play? Zodiac Tri Brigade? Probably come back to 1. Summon Sorceress? Absolutely not. I mean, this card was legal when Nib wasn't a thing. Like, Nibiru wasn't a thing. Dark Ruler No More wasn't a thing. So it'd be interesting to see if it could come back, but I don't think it would, ever. Electromite, it could. But think of like the last 2 years, all the pendulum support we've had. You know, we had Draco Slayers, we had a bunch of stuff come out, and everyone was like, "Oh, it has to come back now, surely," and it just hasn't. So maybe it's just like, no, this card's never coming back. And they had like, what was it, Pendulum and Beyond? Those new Link 2s that we've had that kind of had to replace this. So like maybe the fact that it hasn't come off the ban list is an indication that it probably never will. Same with Colossus, could have easily come back if they wanted it to, but I think cards like Colossus, and like it's similar to a Rise Heart, the whole format warps around this card. It's crazy how like Master Duel has his card and it doesn't get played, but I'm not a big fan of this card, so I'd rather not see it in the format. Isolde is fresh ban list. I'd probably take that off now because we were talking about it previously, and yeah, that card can stay banned. Baron de Fleur. Hot take. Maybe it's not a hot take, but I actually would like to see Baron get banned because Yu-Gi-Oh's in like a weird space right now where like a lot of combo decks can make this card as either a part of their end board or on like the 4th or 5th summon to play around Nibiru, and it just gets a bit stale. Like every deck has a generic line to make Baron. They're pushing out all these combo decks which can make Baron on the 5th summon or make it as part of the end board. To freshen things up, they could just ban it, but yeah, I think Baron is actually a really, really like cool card. But it gets a bit toxic when you've got loads of combo decks that are just making this card play around Nibiru, etc. But yeah, it's a hot take, but it could be interesting. But yeah, that is my sort of quick little ban list video. I'm not really going to edit much of this. I'm just going to speak openly and see what other people's thoughts are. I could probably see a ban list maybe after Brazil, before European Nationals. I mean, if you look at the OCG format, what's different, right? It'd be interesting to see when they get their ban list and see how they hit it, because Viking or like Snake Eye decks been around for a lot longer in their format, and the fact they haven't really touched it is interesting. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.